Kotetsu can run a variety of things. And I mean, it's going to be so fun to see players like Manabe too, somebody that a lot of the community might not know, but is just such a devastating player to go up against.
Absolutely. Going to get right into it here on Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker. This is one of the scariest maps to play this on because things can change so quickly. You can go up that left side, you can come down the right side, both very adequate ways to do it, but that pathway is not nearly as long as it looks. A lot of teams will try to go for a quick pop because it does control so much of that center, and it looks like it is going to be Tudos and his children who make that. And by the way, that's not us saying that, that is their team name. And we do have the return of the Dapple Dualies Nouveau. They used that yesterday. It's going to be a fantastic weapon that has the Toxic Mist and the Inkstorm, so of course you have that painting that it can do. But we see hashtag for Brain going to be pushing forward here. That is going to be Red, who's going to get all the way up to 51, just above the halfway mark, and Pixel going to be trying to survive here. Their ink armor already runs out, but at least they'll stay alive. 2 down for both teams here as Pixel tries to push forward here, and the bubbles are already coming out here, and that's going to be Pixel trying to push forward and get that map control back. It looks pretty split so far as the Rainmaker is going to be popping those bubbles in mid. The Inkstorm, the double Inkstorm coming out, that's going to provide so much map control, and we haven't really talked about the other weapon that we're seeing here, an E-Leader. You talked about sniping. There may be a need, for the Charger after all from Komodo. Very interesting to see it brought back here. This is such a fast transitioning map, but Kotetsu has been really the dominant force right here. They've put Tudos over there on that side to continue to put pressure on the right. Kotetsu's been living on the left. Barely gets up to the top of there, did not touch down. That's a few extra points that I know they would have liked, but with that E-Leader sitting at the middle and the rain control that it provides, very interesting. Luck's going to come up here. The relationship between the Splatling and the E-Leader, a very interesting one to discuss as Pixel tries to move in and put an end to that story before it can start. Manabe going to go down here. Pixel going to try to run around here and get some pressure. I believe that was a 3-down situation. The last one, Tetsu, who's going to throw down the rain and try to get in from behind. Vesper pinned over to the other side. Pixel running in but getting taken out, but now Vesper's going to be able to run by himself. Lux trying to put some pressure on it as well, and all the way to 16 before finally stalling out. Lux is sharking, but gets taken down and spotted out pretty quickly.
Huge push there. That's going to be a full wipe by Tudos and his children onto Komodo, but Komodo got what they came for. A fantastic lead there as they got a 3-down situation and never looked back. Tudos was able to get a good pick there, but they died to the Rainmaker shot, and now Manabe is going to have to try and carry the same torch that Komodo did. Looking for any sort of plays that can be made, but they're already 2 down. Their only support is the E-Leader, and while they come away with a trade, that's not exactly the optimal positioning for the Rainmaker. Mullen also going to be around here. They have that baller at the ready, going to try and get some of the spawners for Tudos and his children that are likely going to be coming in. Waiting for them to start dropping down. That's their teammate Vesper picks up the Rainmaker. They seem to be the designated Rainmaker carrier so far. Mullen going to be going forward here, trying to get Tudos with that baller, but Tudos will back up just in time. We see Red here popping this bubble blower just in case somebody comes forward, but it's 3 down, and it looks like Kotetsu may have had something to do with that. They come around with a big flank, and they stop that push.
I think Tetsu just got a full wipe standing over Lux's dead body. Tetsu definitely had something to do with that. Did the whole thing himself. Going to actually get another one, too. I don't know how much further this push is going to go. You see them stuck there at the bottom. Mullen sitting down there, going to take out Manabe. Now Tudos is going to come around. Tudos has to get a couple here. Pivoting back to the bottom, getting put away. The danger situation is gone right now. Very good composure there by Mullen to not get taken out, because Tudos did get a little bit of a flank there, but a good call out and way to turn around and meet the threat before you.
Now Red trying to build up that bubble once again. It's going to be so important, but they're going to lose it as they go down to Lux, who's been a little more confident. They're not just staying in that window like you might see a lot of long-range players do on this map. Vesper's taking it all the way up the left-hand side. They might be able to extend their lead here. Vesper's still staying alive here, hopping around desperately. They'll get an additional 3 points, and this push may not be over. Red, the last one alive there on that forge. Mullen helping to pop this Rainmaker shield, and it's going to be a bum rush to try and get that forward. They do have the Toxic Mist, but they're still able to get it to 4, and that's going to be a nice kill there, but it won't be any good, easy process here for Tudos and his children with only 1:25 left to try and push forward. The map control still heavily in favor of Komodo. They need to start getting that back. They can't be too hasty with this push, and now Red almost building up that bubble blower. They're going to need to save it for when that push actually gets going.
Manabe being the designated Rainmaker carrier once again. Tudos going to run forward with some armor here, try to create the advantage here on this right side. Tetsu moving in back behind. Tetsu can actually get a couple. I don't think they know he's there. Pixel's going to trade with him, and that's going to be pretty big. It's actually going to force Manabe back to the middle. The only one left. Very good composure. I believe it was Vesper there who got them some armor to make that happen. Vesper going to go ahead and clean up the lone straggling Rainmaker. These bubbles aren't going to be used for anything at this exact moment, but they are there if need be. You see one over there on the side. Tetsu back here trying to wait for the moment to come in. The Dapple Dualies do not have much range whatsoever, so you have to pick and choose, and apparently he chose correctly taking out Pixel, but now has to back up because Mullen knows he's there, and the punishment is there as well.
Other than moving forward into that Slosher Deco shot, that was textbook play there by Kotetsu, really just rolling around after that miss was thrown. They had nowhere to move because their movement was slowed, and now it's going to be Tudos going in trying to pull off something similar. They're not anywhere close to their armor here, so they're not going to have any additional shots to protect against. It's a 2-down situation for both teams. One of them, the last one being alive here for Tudos and his children, is the E-leader, so they're not going to be able to provide much of a heavy presence in mid. Manabe pushing forward, trying to get that pick on the Rainmaker, but they're not going to be peeking out anywhere. A smart play as they camp it for the remaining seconds, and Komodo going to be taking game 1.
One thing that we have to talk about there is the preemptive baller use by Mullen. You see that a lot, almost used as a panic button. Mullen, not the case. Waiting for the call to then go in, be that rolling ball of butcher knives, that exploding cannonball that can come right in, and at the very least take a lot of effort to slow down. That allows you to pivot, take more turf, work kind of a multifaceted machine. I love the use of that, and it's good to see the vanilla slosher back into it. It seems like every other slosher has had its chance in the limelight. We've talked about the tri-slosher. We've talked about the slosh machine. Hey, let's give a little bit of love to the slosher itself.
Yeah, we had to talk about that Slosher, beautiful weapon there. It builds up that baller so quickly, and it's such a fun weapon to look at. It has great range, and of course, when you get hit by one, it's so devastating. I believe about 70 damage taken just off of one shot. So now we move on to Clam Blitz on Sturgeon Shipyard. You normally use mainly the middle section of this map, but with it being Clam Blitz, you're going to have to go all the way over by your opponent's spawn, and you're going to have to look for that 3 or 4 down situation because you have so much map coverage to make. I think Komodo probably going to likely stick with a lot of their comp here. They seem pretty confident. Both of these teams locking in their weapons very quickly within 15 seconds of each other. It's just going to be a lot of a challenge here for Tudos and his team to try and push forward and try to get those early picks on Komodo, because when Komodo gets to set up, you have things like the baller that's going to keep Tudos and his children at bay and not allow them to push too far forward. But there's a lot of boxes on this map. Manabe could really excel here because the E-leader can benefit from such high ground positioning. Even that rotating platform in mid can really help lock down that middle section of the map with some quick picks. If they can stay alive and if Tudos and his children can protect Manabe, this should be a nice win for them.
Absolutely. Going the other way, however, Lux is pretty strong up on that snipe area as well. I don't know if we'll be seeing the sniper coming out, but hey, a Splatling is still very devastating in that position. Would not be surprised whatsoever if Lux made his home up there. And the thing that Lux does such a great job of doing is moving with the push. It seems so often that Lux is leading in the top of the KA, and you say, how can that happen? They were on offense and he was using a defensive weapon. It's because Lux is always there, maybe not in the middle, but right around that perimeter. That is his zone. He will stay there and do exactly what is needed of him as we get started here on this game. Look at all those clams just sitting down there. Sturgeon Shipyard, let's go.
They're ripe for the taking. Let's see what these two teams have brought with them. I'm already seeing a heavy Splatling Deco and that Slosher Deco make the return once again. The Dapple Dooley's Nouveau also not going anywhere. Kotetsu very devastating on that weapon. If they can get in close, that's going to be one of the main tickets for Tudos and his children. Meanwhile, Komodo already busy picking up those clams. Vesper here trying to back up and get that Enzap getting a kill there, and the armor built up as well. They're going to need that in order to push forward. But Kotetsu looking for one, going to look for the second. They're going to get the final shot there on the Mullen, and that's going to be a great double kill to start this game off. A 3-down situation, and Tudos and his children looking a lot better here as they look to build up as many claims as they can, already with 21.
Absolutely, they have to get that first dunk though. Kotetsu waiting back under there, not actually going to be able to get it. Now does come back and get Pixel. Kotetsu not going to be able to get it, and they did not get it. They had all of those clams and not a single point to show for it. Mullen going to come back in here and get the punishment. They try to run in and rush that, but nothing doing. Everything went right for Tudos and their children, except for putting it in the basket.
Vesper doing a great job of camping that power clam until it dissipated, and now popping the Ink Armor, trying to pressure Manabe, who has switched over to that Brella. Manabe will go down thanks to Pixel. Pixel pushing forward, trying to get another kill as well, and they really are favoring that double Ink Armor comp. The Enzap just such a potent weapon here as Tudos is going to go down, and Pixel pushes forward, just trying to build up yet another Ink Armor. That's not even 30 seconds, and 2 Ink Armors are likely going to be had here for Komodo. That's going to allow them to potentially get into the Tudos and his children's zone and make that first pop of the barrier.
I like Manabe coming around here on the backside. Is able to get Pixel, but once again, we keep saying his name. Mullen there to pivot around and get what needs to be done. If there is one strength to Komodo, the best thing they do is their decisiveness. They go in, they make it happen. Sometimes it's a fault, but that is not the case right here, as Lux is going to sit back, pivot back, maybe even might be able to get a couple more here if they don't get any pressure on Snipe, but it looks like Tetsu is going to come in for the punishment and melt down 2 people with just 1 push of the trigger.
Yeah, when you let somebody like Kotetsu on the Dapple Dooley's Nouveau get in in that close to you, you're basically already dead. Now Kotetsu playing the objective here, almost to that power clam, 7 out of 10, and they want to stay alive because they have what they're about to pop, which is that Ink Storm. Trying to push forward here with under 2 minutes remaining. Other than that Ink Storm, no specials currently alive here, meaning that this is Tudos and his children's opportunity to get Komodo while they don't have that armor at their disposal, and it looks like that's exactly what they've done. The barrier's been popped, and Manabe's desperately trying to stay alive with that umbrella, but it's not going to be doing anything. Kotetsu able to get a couple more in there, but it's not enough for the lead. Great defense there by Komodo as Lux sets up his positioning once again.
The worst thing is I don't think Tetsu needed to jump there. You can stand up there at the edge and throw them in. Only able to get 2 in, and they only needed a couple more, and Tetsu had adequate clams to make that happen. So maybe just a bit of a misunderstanding there, or maybe that was part of the plan all along. I don't know. I'm not up there. Another Ink Armor coming in here from Tudos, who's going to try to push something in, maybe get in from the side, but it looks like Lux is going to be running 21 clams, and in comes the jump. That's why Pixel was sitting back, but a well-timed suction bomb going to take out 2 of them. The last one in the area being Manabe, who is going to go down, and Pixel's going to get a little minute right here to throw in as many as he'd like.
It was 31 clams that they were working with, and they were able to break that barrier, get it all the way down to 23, and now it's going to be a desperate effort here from Tudos and his children to try and get some map control back in mid. King Tudos being very patient here, trying to get some map control back. They need the Ink Armor in order to push forward. It seems like Komodo has won most of the firefights that they've had, with the exception of Kotetsu. Now Lux trying to get that high ground positioning again once on that rotating platform, and they will melt down. Hashtag for Brand as they look for that power clam owner, trying to get anything built up, especially that bubble blower, and it seems like they're gaining map control minute by minute, but they have a couple of power clams to contend with. Manabe being the main one that they're going to be gunning for. Mullen going to be flanking around, trying to get something going with that baller, and they almost have a clean shot, but they will be popping the barrier. No defenses around for Tudos and his children. Looks like somebody finally caught on. It will be Kotetsu. Can't find that final shot, and Kotetsu will get the kill. Almost up to that Ink Storm again, and just over a minute remains for Tudos and his children to make somewhat of a miraculous comeback.
And miraculous comeback it would be. That was actually a very lucky situation for Mullen, who is going up to snipe to try to put some pressure, maybe even set up a jump, and 4 clams basically spawn beneath his feet, allowing them to get that counter push there. Now Lux is going to throw some out here. You see this control of Snipe. They are just playing such great control right now. Vesper is going to go down, but Tetsu going to go down alongside. You see a ball come in, and it actually does go through and break the barrier, but that's going to be a full wipe, costing all of their resources and all of their lives to just get that break. Here you see now they have to get a power clam rather, or this overtime will end very quickly. Lux is going to be dancing around here, dancing with death really, but they go ahead and break the barrier here. They have not taken their foot off the gas once.
Fantastic performance there by Komodo, who ends up getting the knockout. The vision that Lux has when he's piloting that heavy splatling is so amazing, especially when he's on that high ground. He was melting people that I almost didn't even see. Just barely the rippling within the ink was enough to tip him off, and they were able to get some incredible kills. You see the 14 KA there, nothing lower than 11 on the side of Komodo. On the opposite side of things, Kotetsu gonna be able to get a nice KA as well, 10 or double digits there as they look for any sort of answer to the onslaught that Komodo is providing. We will be moving on here. Clamblitz no longer something they have to worry about. They will be moving on, however, to our next map and mode combination. Cannot wait to see how Tudos and his children come back from this one, because it looks like even with the long-range weapons they brought with them, it wasn't enough to handle that heavy splatling of Lux's.
No, it wasn't, and Lux really is the key to all of this. Everyone talks about Pixel, and certainly Pixel goes in and makes the plays, Mullen, his running buddy, and Vesper cleaning up and painting. But if you can't find an answer for Lux, if you can't displace him and do what needs to be done, you're not going to get anything. He just does not give up. He does not panic. He comes in and he makes the plays that are necessary, and really is that central cog that makes this Komodo machine run.
So we're now moving on to tower control on Port Mackerel. Another really good map for long-range weapons like that heavy splatling. We are also going to be seeing Kotetsu just roll around in that middle section of the map. It's very, very difficult when you're in such tight, confined spaces and you have a weapon that might have longer range but can either fire slower or require some sort of charge up to be effective. And that's where I think Tudos and his children has to put a lot of the energy. Tudos as well, with that NSAP, should have a good opportunity to get some quick picks and be able to move the tower forward. Again, with it being tower control, that push forward is going to be kind of mitigated. They're going to have to continuously win the 1v1s, because it can't be like Rainmaker where you can get one good team fight and get a significant portion of that push done with. Tower control is a lot more measured. You need to be more patient. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Red hang back with that bubble blower, with that forge, and just kind of be the assistance, that back line for Tudos and his children, but they have to stay alive. Map control, especially on a map like this one, is so, so crucial.
I have a request here. I want to see a squeezer here. I don't know if anyone's going to be using the squeezer. I haven't gotten to talk about it at all. Can we have a squeezer? We get a squeezer. Tetsu,
No
thank you very
way.
much. The squeezer, one of the newest weapons and the newest weapon class whatsoever. Every time you click, it fires that far shot right there. If you hold it, it fires these little shots. It's actually a champagne bottle that pops open. What great ingenuity, but it does have the wall, that powerful splash wall that can lock down one of these sides, and it also has that darn dirty Stingray.
And speaking of interesting weapons, we also have the Nabe on that Bamboozler. It's just going to be tap-shotting people. It charges up so quickly that you can get one full charge off and then an instant tap, and that's enough to take somebody without an Ingarmer down. It's going to be the first takeover of the zone here for Komodo as they only get on for a second, but they force a 2-down situation onto Tudos and his children. Pixel dancing around behind the sponge, going to be able to take out Kotetsu in a fantastic performance there. That jumping maneuverability is so high, and Pixel's not done. Going to be finding another kill there on the Manabe and almost has that Ingarmer built up once again. Mullen going to be popping that baller just to make sure they have even more map control. Red going to be popping the ball or the bubbles as well, but they're getting melted just as quickly, and that's not going to provide any sort of backline defense. Lux gets pushed back with the Ingarmer. That's 2 Ingarmers gone, but Pixel is still alive, as is Lux. A huge performance here as Pixel stops the flank, and it looks like this tower push may not be done. Not quite the triple. Manabe going to shut it down, and that should be the end of the push.
Every time a push happens here, you know that every time a play is made, every time it's a push, whatever it is, you know that Pixel's going to be in the center of it. You don't know where he's going to be, but you can bet he's going to be there and moving around as he so often does. Now the squeezer's going to come up here, try to provide a little suppression, but they need more than suppression right now. They need to find a way in, and with that bamboo in the position that it is, and with the squeezer, going in is going to be solely on the shoulders of their end zap. Going to get some assistance here from a very nice Stingray from Kotetsu, but they have to find a way to make some progress, and you see right there, one got pushed up there and started to make a push, but they were by themselves. There's just not enough staying power in these pushes.
Pixel not afraid to go forward, but with their back against the wall, Tetsu able to stay alive. Now pushing forward here, mainly just trying to do that tap shot because it is a 3-shot kill as opposed to holding down the trigger, which is a 4-shot kill. Moving forward, trying to paint the hallways here of Komodo as they do have a couple of specials at the ready. That squeezer going to try and activate theirs. Pixel gets on the tower to try and halt this push. 2 down on the side of Tudos and his children as Pixel finds another one on Manabe. And that's going to be a major shutdown here as Kotetsu, however, is trying to keep it alive. Gets 1 kill there, looking for the second onto Mullen, but can't seem to find the shots. The tower blocking his path. The baller coming in there, but Kotetsu able to definitely dodge it. And it's going to be a fantastic regroup here for Komodo with a nice defense.
Absolutely, but look right there, Vesper trying to make a push on the right side here, getting shut down by the superior range of Manabe with the pivot over. They've called Vesper out. Vesper's going to have to reposition, or maybe just stay over here and make a shot. Tudos knows that if they're going to try to put some pressure on, they're going to have to pivot back to the center. Now comes the Stingray, going to try to regroup over here on the left side, getting pushed back the other way. The onslaught continues right here. Komodo continuing to fire every bullet they possibly have. Pixel going in a little bit too deep. Now we're going to see Tudos move up. Vesper caught up on the side. Tudos going to take the opportunity and try to take back some mid, but once again, there's more pressure on the backside. Nolan going to get punished for it, but the time continues to tick away.
Yeah, very optimistic flank there from Mullen. Had the baller, but was going up against 2 members of Tudos and his children who backed up smartly until that baller was popped and then absolutely melted him down, thus creating an odd man advantage. Red there with the bubble blower at the ready, but they've already lost 1 member, but as has Komodo, it's going to be a 3v3 for now as Tudos is going to be able to find the kill onto Mullen. Now trying to push forward here as that tower continues to push for Tudos and his children. Tudos almost with that Ingarmer at the ready, and it's going to be a 3-down essentially situation for Komodo, but nobody's on the tower. They really need to start pushing it because it's going to be a very short while before Komodo gets back here, but Tudos has a fantastic performance so far, getting a lot of clutch kills. Lux, however, has that primal positioning, going to try and take down the Stingray, but only gets a couple of shots off. This is the best push of the day so far for Tudos and his children, and they desperately need it.
They need it right now. This is getting so close. This is so close, and yet so far, Tetsu going to have to make a miracle happen, but it is not to be had. That was the best looking push now, but with everybody fully gone, the defense there, Lux moving up to the top of the screen as you saw right there. They needed to spot out Lux and try to get him with that Stingray, but they were not able to. The Stingray kind of being used in an awkward position, but it's so unfortunate because you can't jump all the way back to base because this is such a big map, and you can't risk the slowdown that would happen if you jump all the way back and then try to jump back in. They're gearing up for another push right here. A jump coming in. Manabe going to be the designated tower rider. Tetsu going to be pushing on this side. If Tetsu can get set up in one of these lanes, they may be able to do it, but Mullen is on the top. Red has to come up, but it's not going to be enough for Mullen. Great job. They're at checkpoint number 1 as a couple of them go down here, but Tudos was working on the backside the entire time. Pixel trying to get a kill right here, working around this tower, not able to get it. They're at checkpoint 1 and with a 3-down situation. This might finally be it.
Under 20 seconds left to go. Here we have Kotetsu trying to hit some shots on Vesper, but Vesper is able to get on the tower here, and Vesper is allowing people to jump over to that tower as Pixel's about to do. Pixel gets melted down, but so does Kotetsu. Mullen has a baller for the tower, but the bubbles are coming out, and that's going to allow Red and Tudos to survive. There's 2 members left for both teams, and it's going to be a big lead coming out for Tudos and his children. Gets through that hallway, and they will take a game off of Komodo at the very least.
I was so nervous that once Tetsu missed that shot on Vesper, that Vesper was going to ride that thing just far enough, but as he so often does, Tudos was on the backside, ready to move back, and you see the 18 KA doing a little bit of everything. The 14 KA coming out for the squeezer. Not only did I get my wish, but it looks like my wish might have helped him a little bit. Great play there from the squeezer. Now we're going to move on to game number 4, and there is life in Tudos and his children yet.
Yeah, beautiful prediction there on the squeezer. Absolutely loved seeing that weapon. It's such a cool idea, the champagne bottle sort of actually popping that cork whenever you're tap shotting it, turning it into a 3-shot kill rather than a 4-shot when you're holding it down. Holding it down, though, still has its merits, though, as it's able to turf a little bit better. But now we move on to Rainmaker on Mako Mart, a relatively new map that has a lot to offer. There's a lot of nice walls. It's a relatively large map, but you have that ink rail that allows you to get there a lot quicker. So this is going to be one of the faster pops you'll see on any map. Both teams really locking in their weapons pretty quickly. Komodo instantly, we have a couple people still waiting here for the members of Tudos and his children to try and lock in their weapon. I'm sure they're trying to decide how they can try and take this one to a game 5. It's a very wide open map. There's a lot of pathways you can take, a lot of ramps. Fortunately, they're not like Wale Warehouse where the ramps are tarped and you can't really move around on them or ink them. But there's going to be a lot of opportunities for not only moving the Rainmaker, but for flanking as well, which so far Komodo has done pretty evenly.
Absolutely, and the neutral game of this map really is all about the melons. I'm going to call it melons, so I'm going to describe it. It's that raised spot on the left side. There are melon stickers there on the boxes, which is why it's very often called melons. Not crazy. That is one of the most important parts. It allows you vantage over the map. You get to look on that wide open left side. If you have a long range shooting weapon, maybe a splatling, you can take all that turf and you can call it anybody who's coming along that way. Look for the long range weapons to get set up there at least initially and then pivot over as needed once the push gets started.
Yeah, I looked at the official map callouts from BTM and it is actually called melons. So nice job there. You sure know your stuff, and that's why you get paid the big bucks. But we are now moving into game number 4. It's going to be Rainmaker on Mako Mart. It's going to be an instant pop of this Rainmaker shield. Both teams are going to be furiously fighting with that ink rail, taking them to their destination. And let's see how much of a drastic change that we have. Both teams now opting for that double end zap composition. On the side of Tudos and his children, they're going to be rounding out with that Forge that Red has been playing pretty much exclusively throughout this tournament. And then finally, Kotetsu's Sloshing Machine is going to make an appearance. On the other side of things, Mullen not deviating away from that Sloshing Machine, and the heavy Splatling Deco is going to counter that Forge in terms of bubbles.
Great positioning here, working this right side. We talked earlier about, once again, up there on melons is Lux, going to try to make his presence felt. Now come the bubbles up as a 2-down situation is already there. Red is going to have to run all the way back, throw out some bubbles almost as a desperation attempt at defense, knowing that they are undermanned right now. King Tudos came around to try to make a push there, but nothing doing here. And actually the bubble going to work the other way. You see Manabe and Kotetsu trying to get something, but they're going to have to go behind to make it happen. Manabe does get a kill. Very, very good composure there, because if that had gotten up on that jump, it would have been a lot. I don't know that the ink armor got off. Tudos in a position now to punish Pixel's push. Does do that, but now the baller. Does Mullen always have baller? We need to check that system.
I think that's why they run it, just because it's so fun to roll around in a little, basically like hamster ball, hamster ball, and it's so fun to just kind of blaze a path for your teammates, especially on Rainmaker, when all you need is a little tiny street for yourself to maneuver around on. Vesper trying to dance around these melon boxes. This is going to be a big lead here for Tudos and his children. Vesper going to get melted down by Kotetsu, who's going to stay alive with that Sloshing Machine and has that Stingray to back up the Rainmaker push. And whenever it gets popped, we do see the bubbles coming out here, however, for Komodo, and that's going to be a big kill there onto one of those end zaps. Tudos pushing forward here, trying to pop that Rainmaker shield with the assistance of the Stingray. It should be a pretty easy feat. Can they pick it up? They don't get too much movement out of it, so they'll be stuck at 64, and that might have been a little bit too optimistic.
A little bit too optimistic there. My eyes lit up, as well as all the members of King Tudos and his children. That was a very good job waiting for that situation. One of the things that these good teams do, and as you learn as you play Splatoon, you need to coordinate your specials, not just with other specials, but at the right time in the game. Timing is just as important as positioning and every other aspect of it, so you understand why they ended it there. Now Tudos is going to have to back up. These are some dangerous bubbles now. One of them actually got popped already. They are going to lose the lead there, but not by much. The question is, can they clear this? You see up there at the top of your screen, Mullen is there trying to put some pressure on, is going to have to jump down, and is going to be punished there by Tudos, but someone snuck around and grabbed it there. It was Pixel. It's always Pixel who finds a way to work and get in the middle. We talked about it earlier. If there is objective around, Pixel's probably somewhere in the vicinity.
Yeah, and that first push, they're really facilitated by the bubbles. It proves that they're not just there for getting kills or inking turf. They can be such a distraction and such a shield against the enemy team who really can't take you out if those bubbles are in your way. Manabe going to get a trade there as that's a double kill. Kotetsu staying alive. They're trying to get another pick with that sloshing machine, and they will get some help there from Tudos as they claim credit for the kill. And now that's going to be another Rainmaker shield popped as map control is pretty evenly split here. More than halfway through, and that's a 3-down situation there for Komodo. Lux being one of the last ones alive. And then these bubbles will get popped, trying to make sure nobody can pick up the Rainmaker, but nobody's foolish enough to do that quite yet, and the Rainmaker could very well be reset. Manabe could get absolutely melted down as Tudos is coming back from spawn and will have to jump in.
I was about to say they had everything going right for them right there, but they needed to move Lux. Well, that's what happens when you don't move Lux. It looks like Red going to try to make a push here. Stick around there, try to get some delay, try to let Tenchu get up there, but it's not going to be enough. The 1-point meme is real. So close and yet so far. That did take all of their resources. Lux going to sit down here, and thanks to that pop is going to get a chance to run away here. Going to try to melt it, but the baller not quite that weak. Tudos going to get taken down as this Rainmaker resets, but I'm liking the aggression that I'm seeing here. I think switching over Manabe to this end tap was a great pick as he goes ahead and melts one down for the heck of it. They are overloading this right side. Mullen's going to go down, but they have the wall of Lux there as well. If Tudos can get behind him, and they don't. If Tudos could have got behind, that would have been the push they needed, but that is going to be it. The bubbles just enough. Tetsu going to be back here and get melted down, but does take out Pixel in the process, so at least something came of that.
Kills being traded back and forth, but it was a 3-down situation there for Tudos and his children, which is going to end that push for good. 1 minute remaining here for Komodo, who's trying to lock down this third and final victory. Red going to push forward here, not going to claim credit for the kill, and they will get flounced upon as Mullen pulls off the successful pincer attack. Now moving forward here, they're always so close to that bubble. They almost have it again, and he's trying to push forward to get a kill on the Kotetsu, but Kotetsu's bubble, or Slosher, pardon me, is better this time around. Has the Stingray, and they're always going to try and stay back to get kills with it. They get a lot of shots there on Lux, but they're getting so heavily pressured. They're going to have a couple more seconds on it. They get damage enough on Pixel to take them out, and that's a huge kill there as the Rainmaker's about to reset. They probably don't want to pick it up in that area, but it's going to be Komodo who grabs it, and now Kotetsu looking for the double. They're going to find the double onto Vesper. Now going to pop that bubble again, and they're going to have another opportunity to push forward as that special is in their favor.
They have to move Lux, and Lux is going to punish them right there. You see Tetsu leading the charge, but the bubbles are back in it, and that's going to protect him from Tetsu. Now Vesper is coming back around here. Vesper is able to get the punishment there on Tetsu. Those bubbles hanging in the middle. They've got to get the pop. They've got to grab it. Oh man, this is so close. They have to pop that, but they are going to get taken out. Too much firepower. A pop off there from Komodo on the left side of your screen. Lux raises his hands. He knows he did it. Slump back in the seat. Mullen coming over here for the GGs and the handshake. But what a way to fire back there. Those first couple games did not look good for Tudos and his children, but they came all the way back. 23 KA. Round of applause for Kotetsu, please, everybody.
Lux's heavy splatling play not to be discarded there either, though. A nice 17 KA. Such a huge presence on top of those boxes. It was really difficult for anyone to get around on the side of Tudos and his children, and that unfortunately is going to be Tudos and his children getting knocked out. Komodo, their tournament lives still around as they will move forward in the losers bracket. They lose only one game there to Tudos and his children, who made it into top 12 as the first seed out of their bracket, but a huge performance there from them. They have to feel pretty excited about their play. We even saw Vesper give a little bit of a fist pump there, which is a bit of an oddity. We normally only see him smirk and nothing more, but a huge pop-off win for them there, and they will indeed move on.
Absolutely. Great composure there, and Komodo continues their history at LANs doing what they do, which is advance and keep advancing and keep advancing.
And it doesn't matter if they get knocked down in a loser's bracket. They have a LAN history to protect. They're really looking for as many wins as they possibly can. The teammates exchanging handshakes, though, a good show of sportsmanship there, and that will be the end of that set. We have a lot more to look forward to. I'm so excited to see how this loser's bracket shakes out. There's so many good teams left, and there's so many potential upsets. I don't know who to look for.
I don't either. Of course, right now, STDX sitting pretty after that great set win over all of that very dominant Game 5. They will, of course, be here. You know, Olive, who I believe they're starting to kind of crowd around here. I think we'll probably be seeing them up next. They want redemption. They want another chance to come back up and make it happen. This losers bracket is full of sharks. We talked earlier about how this is the most stacked Splatoon LAN to date. That is not an exaggeration by any means. You have them in losers bracket right now. You have Eclipse, who is there. You have Legacy, who is still making their climb. Of course, Komodo still in, and the favorite is STDX, right? Let's be honest here. They've, after a shakier set against Saffron Rice, they pulled it together and they got the win. I believe I see Dia over there in the corner, maybe walking up here, or just kind of, okay, he just waved. All right, are you up next? Oh, they're out. Okay, so Saffron Rice is out.
A rough performance for them. They had such a great day one. Really sorry to see them out. They had some of the most hyped games in this tournament, in my opinion, and they were so fun to watch. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Team Olive operates again here. Like you said, they're wanting to continue their run. It's going to have to be in this losers bracket, but a lot of them traveled a long way to be here. Many of their members from Europe, so they want to make all that travel and all of that time they spent getting here worth it.
Right.
It was a big investment, and I know they want to come away with it with a good result.
Absolutely. The cliche, the long ride home, the longest ride home, will both be literal and metaphorical.
Yes.
In case Olive should not come here and accomplish their goals. And Olive, a long, storied history. If you know Chimera, if you know Squid Squad Spades, I don't know when you joined the scene, but you've probably heard of at least one of these players, the star-studded cast. They are here for no less than first place. They want the win. They will not be satisfied with second place.
Every team left in this competition is yearning for that first place victory, and we'll see the next teams in just a moment. We'll be taking a quick break, but don't go anywhere. More action of Splatoon 2 from G5 is coming up.